Hello, welcome to video training. We'll be covering Accounts Payable, Level 2, Chapter 1, Entering Deposits. From the main menu, select Accounts Payable. From here, select the Reconcile Bank System. You'll see an option that says Enter Deposits. First question it's going to ask is, where would you like to make this deposit? And it's going to list all my different banks. Select the bank that you plan on making the deposit in. Okay. Now, up until this point, you've been balancing your cash register using the sales journal system. Obviously, at the end of every day, you've been running your cash check register, you've been running your sales journal reports, and you've been balancing on a daily basis. You may continue doing so. There is an option here, though, when you're making deposits. You can hit this button here which says Select Payments to Deposit. What that'll do, that'll go in and look at that sales journal. It'll look at the exact same thing those reports are showing. And what they show, and what'll be in this button here, Select Payments to Deposit, will be every sale that you made that went into your cash register. All accounts receivable postings, whether it be check, whether it be credit, everything that you've done will be in this select payment. So all cash being received in your dealership are going to be right here, regardless of what module it came from. Or you can manually enter your deposits, and you may choose to do that. Let's do option number 1 first. Select Payments to Deposit. When you hit Select Payments to Deposit, it'll ask you the date range, similar to running a sales journal report. Except that what this does, this actually codes every single sale, whether you made the deposit or not. So normally you would use the date that you want to look at. In this case, I am going to look at everything in my sales journal system which I have not made a deposit. So I'm going back in time. Now it's asking me, what do I want to see? Do I want to see cash, check, different types of credit cards? Many dealerships will just go in and look at cash and checks. They'll do their credit cards separately. Some will do everything together. These are the decisions you need to make. And there again, if you're not sure on why you'd want to make these decisions, schedule a Q&A and go over some of this stuff, and we'll give you some advice that we've learned from our experience working with dealers. Select the option you prefer and select OK. This will list every single sale that we have not taken out of the register or made a deposit yet. And it'll tell me where it came from. For example, IC is the inventory system. That's a POTS invoice. RO is the service package. That's a work order. VS would be the unit system. It would be a unit sale. AR would be the accounts receivable system, posting checks coming in. You have a couple of buttons down here. Number 1 is Select All, Clear All. For example, I can manually just select the ones that I want to deposit, and the ones that I'm going to deposit are highlighted in blue, and there's the total of the deposit as of right now. If I say Select All, we're going to be depositing everything, which happens to be $186,000. You can clear all. You can select all. Sometimes it's better to just go in and say, okay, I'm going to deposit everything except for, and maybe you may want to, there's a $162,000 check. Maybe I don't want to deposit that in this particular checking account. By clicking on that, obviously it took it out, and now we're down to $123,000. I click on it again, we're back up to $186,000. So let's click on ones that we don't want to deposit. Okay, as of right now, I want to pull $23,269 out of the drawer. I'm going to say Add to Bank Deposit F12. If I hit Escape, we'll do absolutely nothing. Nothing will be updated, nothing will be changed. If I say Add to Bank Deposit, we will actually be pulling all the highlighted blue ones out of here. It now organizes them as if I typed them. Now what it's going to do, it's creating each entry. I can make any adjustments or changes I need to make. If I select Post Update F12, or if I hit Escape, we've done absolutely nothing. If I hit Post Update F12, OK to post, yes. And the default is yes. Now, the next question is very important. It's important you understand what this is asking me. What it says is okay to post deposit. What we have done up to this point, we've actually taken it out of the register or out of the office. We've put all those checks together, cash all together, and now we're going to do one of two things. We're either going to go to the bank and make the deposit, or maybe we're going to just put it in the vault. Maybe we're not going to make the deposit today. Maybe all we're going to do is put it into our vault, and then we're going to go in and look at the cash register tomorrow and maybe add the things from the cash register tomorrow, and maybe we won't be making the deposit till the end of the week. So what this is asking me is, am I going to go to the bank and make the deposit? If yes, I am, I'm going to the bank, I'm going to make the deposit, then the answer would be yes. So let's select yes. Now it's saying, okay, what is the date of the deposit? This is very important. You want the date to be the real date that you made the deposit. When you're balancing your checkbook and you're looking at your bank statement, it's much easier if the dates match up. If you go in and you say, okay, I'm making the deposit on the 17th here, but I really made it Monday and it wasn't the 17th, it makes it much more difficult to balance your checkbook when the dates don't match up. So it's extremely important. Let's suppose we made this deposit on Monday and I want to select Monday, which is the 14th. Now I'm going to select OK. Now, posting deposit to the 14th. It's asking me one more time because there again, it is very important. If I say no, I can go back and change the date. If the dates are wrong, like I have to say again, it makes it much more difficult balancing your checkbook. Now it's going to tell me the general ledger entries that it's making for this deposit. Now, notice what it's doing. It's lumping everything together. It's taking things out of my undeposited cash account, general ledger-wise, and putting it into my checking account. So here's my deposit. What it does do, it separates each entry. All my cash are lumped together. All my credit cards, all my cash is lumped together. All my checks are put together as a total. My credit cards are separate entries. It makes a separate entry in GL for each credit card so that it makes it easier for balancing and double checking things, because your credit cards, obviously, as you well know, they get cleared sometimes not on a consistent basis. So credit card entries in GL are separate. When you're looking at your deposit in GL, it will total up all the checks. It will total up all the cash. We're going to select Update. Now it's going to ask me if I want to print a deposit slip. Deposit slips will list every single check and check number and who the check was from, and then it'll summarize what you put in here as far as checks, coins, credit cards, auto deposits, and so forth. Okay, we have just made a deposit. We made a deposit by going in and looking at our sales journal, picking and choosing what we want, and we deposited in that particular bank. At any time I wish, if I need to reprint a bank deposit, you can click here, Bank Deposit Slips. This will list every single deposit that you made, as well as the one we just did. If you select on the one that you're doing, you can reprint it out at any point in time. Okay, let's go in and make another deposit. This time we're going to hit Bank Deposit. We're going to select the bank we want to make the deposit in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and say Select Payments. And what's going to be there are the things that I have not yet deposited. And I'm going to look at everything. So these are the things that we left in there that we didn't deposit the last time. Now, there again, I can select each ones that I want, or I can just say Select them all. In this case, I'm going to make a $163,000 deposit. I'm going to say Add to Bank Deposit. This is what I'm depositing. This is how it's broken up. I'm going to select F12, OK to post. But you know what? Maybe this time I'm not going to the bank right now. I'm going to wait till tomorrow. I am going to add some more things that I'm posting tomorrow, and then I'll go to the bank. So I'm not really making the deposit. I pulled it out of my cash register. I've put it into the vault, or I've buried it in the ground. But somewhere I've organized this. I put it all together. It's Haven't made the deposit yet, and I'm not going to make the deposit maybe until the next day. So I'm going to say no here. Now, when we go in the next day to make a deposit, enter deposit, the minute we select the bank, if there's anything that we haven't deposited, like I have some things that I pulled out of the cash register that I have not made a deposit for, they are immediately going to pop up on the screen. Now I can go in here and say select payments. I can put in whatever date range on. Now there are going to be nothing here because we haven't made any sales. So there are nothing here. Now, we can also manually update this. For example, suppose I just want to manually add some more entries to this. You can do so by selecting over here. It is going to say, is it a check? Is it cash? Is it coins? Is it a credit card? Is it an auto deposit? You might have a electronic transfer. You might have a auto deposit where somebody pays you on a regular basis. So let's just say we have a check. Now, when you're putting this in, some people actually, if they're manually doing it, will just total up all the checks. Some people will do individual checks. If you're doing individual checks, then you may prefer to just list all your checks and have them go in individually, and then manually key in the other options like the checks and the coins and things like that. But anyway, I'm going to hit the enter key. I'm going to put in an amount here, 1234. I could put a name, or I could just say all checks. If you hit the enter key, it'll default to today's date. If you want, you can put a number. So whether you put in individual checks or whether you type total checks, if I had and there again, here's my checks. If I go down here now and maybe doing an auto deduction. And let's say you would click on what you want. Now that's a drop down. So you can type in A. You could type in C for check. You can type in CA for cash, CH for check. So it's just a standard Windows drop-down. If you type in the first two letters, A for auto deduction, CH for check, CA for cash, you don't need to be using the mouse. You can give it a description. There again, the date will be exactly what you want. If you want here, you can go down here. Collect what you want, coins. So you can manually enter, you can select it from your sales journal system, and now I'm going to be making this deposit, which is $165. I'm going to hit post. Okay to repost, yes. Now all I'm doing is I'm not making the deposit yet. I'm just updating what I'm going to deposit in this bank. Haven't decided if I want to deposit yet. Now it's asking me, am I going to make the deposit? Now, if in fact I'm going to the bank and make the deposit, yes would be the answer. If I'm just saying, no, I just added some more stuff to this today, I'm not going to make the deposit till the end of the week, I would say no, and I would keep adding to this on a regular basis until I decide to go to the bank and make the deposit. In this case, I'm going to say yes. What's the date of the deposit? It's today. Yes, I want to post it, and that's correct. And now it's making my general ledger entries, and there again, this is all coming on my undeposited cash, and this is all going into my checking account. And now it's going to print my deposit slip. And there we've had it. We've made a couple of deposits. Now, if I want to manually just go in and just key something in without looking at anything, I'm going to enter deposit one more time. I'm going to pick the checking account I'm making the deposit for. And there again, if I type in, check, there again, if you type in blank, it'll go down to the next field. That's an auto deduction. I typed in A. You can manually do this here if you wish. CA, so there again, whether you basically, use the drop down, select what you want to put in. You can put in totals. I've got check, I've got auto deduction, I've got some cash. Maybe I want to put my total credit cards today, were this here. So there again, whether you list it individually, whether you put totals, when you're done, I'm going to make a deposit of $1,800. I manually keyed this in. post. Yes, I'm going to make the deposit today. You can make more than one deposit on the same day if you wish, or there again, maybe I'm going to do it first thing in the morning tomorrow. So on my way into work, I'm going to make my deposit. Yes, here's my general ledger entries. It took it out of my undeposited cash account and put it into my bank account. There again, credit card entries will be separate in GL. Print out my deposit slip if I wish. Here's what I'm depositing. Okay, that concludes going over entered deposits.